911, what is the address of your emergency?
That bridge going like the Tullahoma, it looked like a forest fire.
Investigators found Sharpton's 95 red Ford Mustang 15 miles away on Three Forks Ridge Road in Bedford County. They're now asking the public for any information how it got there and whether anyone has seen the woman's pink purse.
1:30 in the morning on July 2nd, 2012. A motorist driving down a rural Tennessee road spots what looks like a brush fire off to the side. He turns around to check it out. As he gets closer, he realizes something's terribly wrong. That's not a grass fire. That's a person. A young woman. Burning. This is the story of Megan Sharpton and one of the most calculated evil crimes you'll ever hear about.
Believe the news, waitress Erica Sharpton, or Megan as they called her, was murdered.
We were all just shocked because she never seemed like she was in any kind of trouble.
Friends say Sharpton was a busy 24-year-old who was balancing this job with nursing school and another job at a nursing home.
To try and get out of the restaurant business and get into a better career field, where she can accelerate.
The young lady's body was over here.
Sheriff Tim Fuller says deputies discovered Sharpton's body in this grass on fire early Monday morning. After putting out the flames, they discovered evidence of trauma to her head.
It appears to us that she may have very well been murdered at another location and was literally dumped here to dispose of the body.
Megan Sharpton was 24 years old and living in Tullahoma, Tennessee. She was 2 months away from graduating nursing school. She worked as a waitress at Yamato Restaurant and at a nursing home to gain experience in her field. Megan's fatal flaw was being too trusting. Her mother, Kelly, said Megan saw the best in everyone. At 15, she'd go to rough parts of town to talk to homeless people because she thought they needed a friend. She believed there were no bad people, just people who made bad choices. She gave everyone the benefit of the doubt. Kelly knew this was dangerous and warned Megan constantly, but Megan had this big, compassionate heart. She was naive about the real evil that exists in the world. And a monster would exploit that. July 1st, 2012. Megan was supposed to have dinner with her family. Her sister Carrie was visiting from out of town. But then Megan got a phone call, a job offer. Someone was looking for a nursing student to sit with an elderly person. The call came from someone connected to her nursing school. Megan called her mom Kelly and told her she had to cancel dinner. She had this job interview. Kelly wasn't worried. Megan told her boyfriend Chris the same thing. He was heading to work at a local department store for his 5 p.m. to midnight shift. Megan said she'd be back later. He never saw her alive again. Around 1:30 a.m., a motorist spotted the fire. When first responders arrived, they found something horrific: the body of a young woman, completely naked from the waist down. Her nursing school uniform burnt. The fire was concentrated on her pelvic region. Someone had deliberately set her private parts on fire. The autopsy revealed the nightmare Megan went through. She'd been shot in the face, beaten in the back of the head with a blunt object, raped multiple times. And here's the part that still haunts investigators. She had smoke in her lungs. She was still alive when she was set on fire. She was conscious. She knew what was happening to her. Detective George Dyer later said her last few minutes of life were pure hell, panic, and fear. Kelly Sharpton learned about a body being found through social media. She had that sick feeling in her stomach.
Joining us now is Kelly Sharpton. I'm sure this has just been so difficult for you and your family. Our prayers go out to you. How did you find out what happened to your beautiful daughter?
I actually read a post on Facebook where they had described a girl with a star tattoo on the back of her neck and one on her foot, and I knew that it was her.
When was the last time you talked to your daughter, and what kind of mood was she in? I understand she was saying that she was going to go over and visit a family, correct?
Right. My other daughter was here from out of town, and she had just woken up at 3:45 that afternoon. She'd worked the late shift at the restaurant where she worked and was planning to come over after that. She said after she got her shower she would come on, and she didn't come. But we were under the understanding she had an interview with somebody to start sitting with an elderly lady, and so we just figured she had gone on and gone to that interview. But we lost track of her after that.
If somebody is out there listening tonight and they saw something, what would you like to say to them as you are desperately searching for clues for your daughter?
Just please, if you saw anything, even the smallest detail, please call the police, call TBI or Franklin County Sheriff's Department. They've been wonderful. They've kept us up to date. They've left no stone unturned. They've just been great, and please call. She was our daughter and our sister. We just miss her.
The dead woman had 2 star tattoos on her body, Megan's signature stars. They found Megan's red 1995 Ford Mustang about 15 to 20 miles away on Three Forks Bridge Road in Bedford County. Her pink purse was in one location, her car was in another. Her burning body was in a third location. This wasn't random. This was planned. Police immediately looked at the boyfriend. Chris initially described their relationship as good, but then admitted things had gotten strained. Their 3-year on and off relationship had hit rough patches, but Chris had a solid alibi. He was at work from 5 p.m. to midnight. Verified. Multiple witnesses. Security footage. He was cleared. Investigators focused on that job offer. Chris told them Megan mentioned it came from a former nursing school classmate named Naomi Jones. Detectives went to talk to Naomi. Naomi said she barely knew Megan. They were acquaintances at best. She definitely never called her with any job offer. So who called Megan?
A mother pleads with law enforcement to catch her daughter's killer before she says someone else gets hurt. Good evening, I'm Kim Chapman.
And I'm Calvin Sneed. The murder of Megan Sharpton happened in Franklin County back in July. The murder left her family devastated and on edge, knowing her killer is still out there somewhere.
I wake up in the morning with the horrible realization that my daughter is dead and she's never coming back.
Megan Sharpton was brutally murdered on July 2nd after she was lured to a home. She was raped several times and beaten. Her body was found burning on the side of the road in Franklin County. District Attorney Michael Taylor is overseeing the case.
The investigation is continuing, and hopefully we will have a successful outcome in the near future.
While the murderer walks free, her family is left with a gaping hole. Kelly talks about her son's connection with Megan.
Really valued her and went to her for most of his advice and needs, and he's been devastated.
Sadness and grief have overcome the mother of 4 who promised to support her children through college. Megan would be graduating from nursing school on October 26th.
I have to accept her diploma for her, and that will be joyous, but it will break my heart because it should be her.
The Sharptons are pleading for District Attorney Taylor to speed up the process and make an arrest in the case so no other woman get hurt. If you have any information on this case, call the Franklin County Sheriff's.
Investigators traced the number Megan received the call from. It was a burner phone, one of those prepaid cells people use when they don't want to be tracked. That alone proved this was premeditated. They went to the store where the phone was purchased and pulled surveillance footage. They identified the buyer as Timothy Gifford, a known drug dealer. When they brought Timothy in for questioning, he immediately gave up his friend. I bought the burner phone for Donnie Jones. Donnie Jones, Naomi Jones's husband. Donnie Frank Jones Jr. was 37 years old with 23 prior convictions. Everything from theft to drugs. A career criminal. His wife Naomi had attended nursing school with Megan. That's how he knew about her. Naomi had previously worked as a correctional guard assigned to Donnie. She met her future husband while he was locked up. When investigators brought Donnie in, he denied everything. He said he had no contact with Megan. Never talked to her. Never got a burner phone from Timothy. Claimed he was with his kids. Then the DNA results came back. The foreign DNA found on Megan's body matched Donnie Jones. When confronted with this evidence, Donnie completely changed his story. Now he claimed he and Megan had a consensual sexual affair. He went from, "I never contacted her," to, "We had consensual sex." The detectives knew he was lying, but they couldn't prove it wasn't consensual based on DNA alone. They had to let him walk. They knew this guy did it. The DNA proved he was there. but they couldn't arrest him yet. While waiting for more evidence, investigators arrested Donnie on unrelated gun charges. They'd found a rifle in his vehicle's trunk. As a convicted felon, he wasn't allowed to have firearms. At least they could keep him locked up while they built their case. Then they ran a GPS analysis on 4 phones: Megan's phone, Donnie's phone, Timothy Gifford's phone, and the burner phone. The results were damning. The burner phone moved along with Donnie's cell phone. The burner was used to contact Megan. Then the communication stopped right where police later found Megan's car. Next, the GPS data showed Donnie's phone, Megan's phone, and the burner all traveling to the location where investigators believed Megan was raped and killed. Finally, all 3 phones tracked to the site where Megan's body was found burning. Donnie's family owned several farms in that area. He knew the land. He knew exactly where to take her, where nobody would see. Nobody would hear her scream. When investigators searched the property where they believed Megan was killed, they found a burn barrel. Inside were the burnt scraps of a purple scarf with stars printed on it. Megan's sister Carrie had given her that scarf. Megan loved stars. She had star tattoos. She carried that scarf everywhere. Donnie tried to destroy the evidence. He failed. Here's what investigators believe happened. Donnie Jones got a burner phone through Timothy Gifford. He started making calls, trying to lure women with the promise of a caretaking job for an elderly person. He called at least one other woman in Manchester about the same job. After several conversations, he tried to set up a meeting. But when she said her mother would be coming with her, Donnie cancelled. He needed someone who would come alone, someone trusting, someone vulnerable. Then he thought about Megan, his wife's nursing school classmate. Sweet, naive Megan who believed the best in everyone. He called the old number that Megan had given to Chris. She'd since changed numbers, so that number actually belonged to Chris. Donnie didn't know that. Chris spoke with him a few times, thinking it was legitimate. Eventually, the calls got transferred to Megan. Megan was excited. She wrote down directions in her own handwriting to meet Donnie at an isolated road in Bedford County, the same road where her car would later be found. She drove there thinking she was going to a job interview. Instead, she found a monster waiting. Based on the evidence, investigators believe Donnie raped her multiple times at that location. Then he shot her in the face, beat her in the back of the head with a blunt object, and while she was still alive, still breathing, still conscious, he poured an accelerant on her private parts and set her on fire. Then he drove her burning body to dump it on Awalt Road.
Announced Tuesday that 37-year-old Donnie Jones was charged with killing Megan Sharpton.
On Tuesday, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office charged 37-year-old Donnie Jones with Megan's rape and murder.
A lot of the things that they had shared with me make me know that this is the right person. Then when I started hearing how it all fell together, I had no doubt.
Hearing the charges against Jones and seeing him locked behind bars gives Sharpton a sense of satisfaction for her daughter and the community.
But she's filled my life with so much joy for 24 years. So I'll just take that with me and try to learn from this experience.
Donnie Jones has 21 previous felony convictions ranging from forgery to aggravated assault. He had been in jail on an unrelated charge, and he now faces 2 counts each of kidnapping, rape, and murder. He's due back in court on November the 16th.
The motorist who found her arrived just 10 minutes after Donnie set the fire. If he'd been driving by just a bit earlier, maybe he could have saved her. On November 5th, 2012, 4 months after Megan's murder, the state charged Donnie Jones with first-degree murder, rape, and 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping. The evidence was overwhelming. The DNA, the GPS data, the burner phone, the burnt scarf, witness testimony, the directions in Megan's handwriting leading to the exact spot where he'd lured her. Prosecutors were going for the death penalty. On February 4th, 2013, Donnie Jones took a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to first-degree murder in exchange for life without parole.
He walked into a Manchester courtroom with shackles on his hands and feet, coming face to face with Megan Sharpton's mother, Kelly, who was clutching a picture of her daughter.
Well, our theory was that the purpose of the fire was to destroy the semen present in her body.
District Attorney Mike Taylor says the fire actually ended up preserving the evidence that became key after investigators linked Jones to the crime through cell phone records and Sharpton's clothing found on his family's property.
I know that he had a 98 escape where he actually tried to kidnap two young ladies in a car and make them take him to the interstate.
In court, Jones asked the judge for a speedy trial, and he mouthed to relatives what appeared to be, "I didn't do it."
And he knows in his heart, the universe knows who's guilty. I don't have to argue with him. The police have done their work.
The man who killed her agreed to a plea deal that will keep him in prison for the rest of his life with no...
In February 2013, 37-year-old Donnie Jones Jr. pleaded guilty to the first-degree murder of Megan Sharpton. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. However, he soon asked to withdraw this, stating that his attorney had convinced him to say it and his wife had been threatened. Circuit Court Judge Curtis Smith heard and granted a new motion, but the original judgment soon went back into effect, and he is still serving life without parole. Megan's sister Carrie said, "If Megan hadn't lost her life, I feel very confident that Donnie Jones would still be out, trying to trick young women. Megan put him behind bars for life. She sacrificed her life to keep everybody else in our community safe." Kelly Sharpton, who had gone through such trauma losing her daughter.
In court, Assistant District Attorney Steve Blount laid out the entire case. How Donnie obtained the burner phone. How he tried to lure other women first. How he specifically targeted Megan because she was trusting and would come alone. How he raped her multiple times, murdered her, and burned her body to destroy the evidence. When the judge asked Jones, "Are you guilty?" he replied, "Yes, sir." The prosecutor said that with Jones pleading guilty to murder and accepting life without parole, there was no need to prosecute him for the rape and kidnapping charges. He was going to prison for the rest of his life anyway. 3 weeks after pleading guilty, Donnie tried to withdraw his plea. He claimed his attorney coerced him. He claimed prosecutors threatened to prosecute his wife. All lies, all manipulation. The courts didn't buy it. His guilty plea stood. His life sentence stood. Donnie Frank Jones Jr. was sent to prison at the Northeast Correctional Complex in Johnson County, Tennessee. He'll die there.
Monday, November the 5th at approximately 6:30 p.m., the Franklin County Grand Jury returned an indictment against the Tullahoma man for the murder of Megan Sharpton.
He has been charged with first-degree murder of Megan and will face justice in our court system.
This is rural Middle Tennessee. We don't see things like that here. We don't experience that level of brutality or violence or just coldness.
During the investigation, detectives discovered Donnie Jones had been aggressively trying to lure other potential victims before he got to Megan. That Manchester woman wasn't the only one. He was on the hunt. He was predatory. He had a system. Megan's sister Carrie said, "If Megan hadn't lost her life, I feel very confident that Donnie Jones would still be out, trying to trick young women. Megan put him behind bars for life. She sacrificed her life to keep everybody else in our community safe." Megan's death likely saved other women from the same fate. Detective Dyer called Donnie a cold-blooded killer. This was a man who had 23 prior convictions but kept getting chances. Kept walking free. Kept being able to hurt people. Megan's mom, Kelly, said, "He had 23 other convictions before the death of Megan and he was still walking around. It took Megan to fix it where he won't do it again." The system failed to stop him until it was too late. Kelly Sharpton never got closure. In the months after Megan's death, Kelly fought hard. She went to the media. She talked about Megan constantly. She didn't want her daughter remembered as that burned girl found on the side of the road. She wanted people to know Megan's name, know who she was. know what she'd dreamed of becoming. In March 2013, Kelly dedicated a memorial at the site where Megan's body was discovered. It was a 7-foot-tall sculpture with 24 metal stars that gleamed in the sunlight, 1 star for each year of Megan's life. Kelly wrote on a rock at the site, "Megan is her name." Kelly told reporters she woke up every morning and saw her dead daughter's face. The grief was relentless. It consumed her. On November 8, 2013, Kelly Elizabeth Hale Sharpton killed herself. She was found dead in a motel room in Chattanooga. She was 47 years old. The pain of her daughter's death was too much. 16 months of trying to carry on. 16 months of waking up to the nightmare, knowing what Megan went through in those final moments. Detective Dyer said Jones essentially killed them both. Sure did. Donnie Jones didn't just murder Megan. He destroyed her entire family. He killed Kelly too, just more slowly. The family started a nursing scholarship in Megan's memory. Even though Megan never got to graduate, never got to become the nurse she dreamed of being, her spirit lives on in the students who receive that scholarship. Megan's story has been featured on Investigation Discovery's Murder Comes to Town and Oxygen's An Unexpected Killer. Her story is a warning, a reminder that evil exists, even in small towns, even from people who seem connected to trustworthy networks. Megan Sharpton trusted a phone call from someone connected to her nursing school. She wrote down directions and drove to meet them, thinking about the job she'd get, the money she'd earn, the experience she'd gain. Instead, she drove straight into hell. If there's anything to take away from this case, trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. If someone you barely know is offering something that seems too good to be true, be cautious. Tell someone where you're going. Don't go alone to isolated locations for job interviews with strangers. The community of Tullahoma will never forget Megan Sharpton, because her name is Megan, and she deserved so much better. Rest in peace, Megan Sharpton.